Russia launches largest bombardment of Ukraine since start of war. Over 500 missiles and drones strike cities across the country. Kyiv, Ukraine, July 1, 2025. Russia unleashed its most massive aerial assault on Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion in February 2022, launching more than 500 drones and missiles over the weekend in a sustained and devastating campaign that targeted cities and infrastructure across the country, including regions far from the front lines. The unprecedented bombardment began late Friday and continued through Sunday, stretching Ukrainian air defense systems to their limits. Explosions were reported in Kyiv, Lviv, Dnipro, Odesa, and even in cities in western Ukraine that have remained largely untouched in recent months. This was the most extensive and complex air attack we've ever experienced, said Serhiy Popko, head of the Kyiv City Military Administration. It involved waves of cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and Iranian-made Shahed drones launched from various directions, and platforms syncliting from Russian territory, the Black Sea, and Belarus. The strikes resulted in dozens of casualties, widespread power outages, and significant damage to energy infrastructure and residential neighborhoods. In Kyiv alone, more than a dozen people were reported killed, and scores more injured, after a missile struck a high-rise building and a nearby hospital. Western Ukraine, usually spared from large-scale strikes, saw targeted attacks on fuel depots and railway hubs in Lviv and Ivano-Frankivsk, underscoring Russia's shift in strategy to disrupt Ukraine's logistics and support lines. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky called the attack a terrorist barrage and appealed urgently to Western allies for more advanced air defense systems. Russia is trying to test the resolve of the world, not just Ukraine, Zelensky said in a statement from a secure location. We need more Patriot systems, more fighter jets, and faster delivery of military aid. According to Ukrainian military sources, their air defense forces intercepted approximately 80% of the incoming projectiles. However, with such a high volume of attacks, many still penetrated the defenses, hitting civilian and military infrastructure alike. The Russian Ministry of Defense claimed the strikes were aimed at Ukrainian military command centers and weapons storage facilities. However, Ukrainian officials and eyewitnesses reported multiple civilian casualties and damage to non-military targets. The massive aerial assault comes as Ukrainian forces continue to resist Russian advances in the eastern Donetsk and northeastern Kharkiv regions, where heavy ground fighting has intensified in recent weeks. Analysts suggest that the scale of the bombardment may be aimed at weakening Ukraine's morale and ability to defend itself ahead of a potential renewed Russian offensive later in the summer.